Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to the season 2 opener of Divine Soul Awakening. We're really excited to be back and being able to just work with our family out there and connecting with like-minded souls. And Kristie and Doc are away this week. Doc will be away for a little bit, but Kristie is a little bit sick. So let's send some good, loving energy to Kristie. Love you. Heal, heal. And then who are we? We are a group of psychics and spiritual mediums that we've come together to help everyone awaken, align with their higher purpose and their higher selves, and just help them look for their purpose while they lift up into their own humanity. And it really is about the opening journey, the spiritual journey of people awakening. So we are really excited to be joining this. The biggest announcement that we have is that we have a new member. And at the end of last season, we asked people, we said, hey, who would like to be on the show? And we decided to let the divine figure out who that is. And it was the first person that reached out to us, and actually the only person that reached out to us, that said right away, me. So are we ready to have the big reveal of who our member is?
Yay, yes.
Yay. Drum roll, please. Jenny!
Hi!
Yay! So
Jenny.
excited to have our soul sister Jenny join us.
I am so excited to be here, you guys. I'm just
Yay.
covered in goosebumps right now. My God bumps, I call them.
Oh, we're so excited to have you. Yay.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we were thinking of just having you start by sharing a little bit about your spiritual awakening process and journey, since we've all kind of shared ours in the beginning of the show when we first started off, and just to kind of get to know you a little bit better and how you develop your intuitive gifts, and yeah, whatever you want to share.
All right. Well, oh, that's my clock.
Yay, right on time.
Yeah, so I know, looking back now that I had abilities when I was a kid, was definitely connected to the elementals. I spent a lot of time in the woods as a kid and definitely had that connection. But back when I was a little kid and the family that I grew up in, it wasn't something I brought up, and I shut it down, and which is something I've heard quite a bit from other people. And so as I go, as I continue to grow up and go into my lifetime, I also struggled with some other issues in my life. I believe a lot of that had to do with trying to figure out what was going on with me, with my abilities, because they would pop in and out here and there. And basically, one of the biggest ones I started to remember was 15 years ago. I started seeing auras around people, and it kind of spooked me, to be honest with you. I thought it was really cool at first, and then I thought I was losing my mind. So, I shut that right down. And today I don't see the colors so much as I see the auras around people. I get like more of a whitish light. But about 4 years ago, I went into what I know now as a dark night of the soul. And I was going through a divorce, and I had a lot of emotional stuff going on. And my intuition kicked in. I started having these events of deja vu that were like one right after another. Like sometimes 3 a day, I would have these happen to me. And again, I'm thinking, something's going on up here. I don't understand what's going on. I have no clue about awakening then. I had no clue about making contracts before I came here, and all of the stuff that I know now, and about reincarnation and all of these other things. And I had a friend, those people that show up in our life when we start having those awakening moments. And I had the courage to open up and tell her what was going on. And she laughed and she said, that is so awesome. And I'm like, okay, I'll take your word for it. This is awesome. And I'm like, but I don't know what to do with it. And she just said, just go with it, just be an observer of what's going on with you. And then I started to have the vibrations. So I started to get the downloads, and they would happen to me in the middle of the night, and I could feel my whole body vibrating. And again, I'm thinking, oh boy, something, like it's got to be nerves, because I suffered from terrible PTSD and anxiety. So I'm thinking, okay, this is it. My subconscious is having a run at me. And again, the same person told me, nope, this is all good. This is where you're supposed to be. And so, since then, I have to put the kudos out there for my first spiritual teacher, who is Paul Wyrostek. And I don't know, maybe several people in here might know who he is, but I started working one-on-one with him and opening up my abilities, and started working on that healing process that I know, and we talk about being part of ascension. We have to clear up our past. And recently, well, for the last year and a half, I've been in William Michael Forbes classes, and just opening up and clearing and opening up, and my abilities are getting stronger and stronger. And I just have that drive all the time to want to learn more. And it's just so exciting, when I get these people that come into my life, like you guys, and you know, having these things open up. At first, I lost a lot of people around me, and I felt really lonely for a while and confused, and but I just keep having more and more people come in now. For me, being online with people and having that connection is so awesome. I know there's people that would think that maybe that's not real, like you guys aren't real, you're just on a screen. But to me, it's like I see you every day, and you're right here, because I know your soul's with me. Your soul's in my heart. And I just love that connection. And I keep having more and more people come into my life to teach me more things, to let me know that I have a tribe, that I'm not alone. I'm single right now, and I have times where I thought, boy, this is really weird being alone. But as soon as I think that, I know I'm not alone. You know what I mean? I have all my angels and masters and my friends, and all of you guys that we're all growing together. And it's just so exciting. I mean, I could go on forever, but that's the basic part of it. And I just continue on a daily basis to connect with the energies around me. And I listen to a lot of things on YouTube. And Rachel, I just heard you this morning, your latest post, and that was really cool, because I hadn't had any connection with that energy. I forget who it was this morning, but
Serapis Bay.
Yes.
It's funny, because as you were talking and telling your story, like something you said triggered a memory of like something he said about, because that message was all about the path of ascension, and what it means to ascend. Like he explains the process and what it means. And then he also explains a little bit about the stages of awakening. And it's a really interesting side note to that is I actually filmed and recorded that message like end of November of last year, beginning of December. So it's been sitting like waiting to come out, but I haven't. I was just guided to put other messages out before I put that one out, but now it was like the time to put that one out. So it's just like I always trust in the timing. But what you said was about the downloads, because he used that word. You were saying like you were getting downloads once you started going through your awakening process, and you didn't realize what was happening. But that's what he was describing, like the process to be. It's like the stages of awakening are just like different stages of getting downloads, and new information starts coming in, and it doesn't come in all at once, because that would just like blow our circuits or something. Like it has to come in. Like we would upload computer software, like you download and you're like upgrading the system, and it takes time to download it, and there's processing time to process it and then time to integrate it. And all that stuff is like relative to how we absorb new information too. So I think that's really interesting that that came up. And then you were talking about the healing, and I was getting a message about like the healing process that we go through when we do um, start to recognize like what's kind of wanting to be healed in ourselves is really just a resetting of our system. That's what I was hearing. Like it's a reset. It's like, okay, now you're resetting the system. You're like clearing the hard drive of like all the clutter that doesn't need to be there anymore. And you're opening up to receive the new information. And that's what kind of came to me when you were talking about like how now you know you're not alone, you have your guides around you. It's like a total different experience in life because it doesn't necessarily take away the struggle or the pain or the suffering that we might go through as we're changing and shifting, but it gives a sense of like peace and trust, knowing that we have all this support and we feel all this love from our guides. So it really makes it so much easier to go through that, those changes, and to trust in that process. So I just thought that was beautiful, and your story. And thank you so much for sharing that, Jenny. We're so happy to have you here.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And it does seem like that we've all kind of gone through, it almost seems like something tragic or something difficult. We had to go through something difficult in order to have this. I think, and Maria or Luz de Luna is saying the same thing, that she can only compare it to the download to my brain. Like you can feel it. It's like you can feel like a definite shift within your system. And for me, like I know, I've been connecting spiritually mainly through my martial arts for a long time, and it is a spiritual practice. But it wasn't until my parents passed away that's when things opened, because then my dad would come to me, he would do things to me. So I was always complaining about my dad that he couldn't hold his flatulence, and he would walk and then he would flatulate, and it was like, Dad, like, what are you doing? And he's like, I can't help it. But I couldn't understand that. But here, and then after he passed, for a good 2 weeks, every step I took, burp, 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 I just couldn't hold myself. I was like, oh, Dad, okay, I get it. And then that 2 weeks after that, it was just a series of just things that I would complain about my dad that was happening to him physically, whatever it might be. And he and it was him, and he did it to me. It's like, okay, and that opened me right up.
Yeah.
Damn it.
That's funny. I like that one.
That's a funny story, but yeah, that's interesting how like we connect to our guides and we get the messages that we need to get. Whatever we need to shift is going to come in and help us once we start becoming aware of how that works and how that's happening in our lives. So very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I think one of the coolest things that I have acquired since I started awakening was to not live in fear 24/7. Having that knowledge that I'm protected all the time by my angels and my guides, and having that in my heart has been huge, and to know that with this healing, all of the things that I went through in my lifetime, when I had those questions of why is this stuff happening to me? I had a lot of trauma in my life growing up, but I know today that trauma has now been transmuted into love in my heart. And I'm a Reiki master healer also. And that has just transitioned right into healing, working and doing sessions with other people who are dealing with trauma. And it's just incredible, the little threads, they just kind of weave themselves through into, what path I'm walking on now.
Yeah, I think that's like a really important point to make, is that, a lot of the things that we've already gone through, that our struggles that end up coming into like a greater purpose for us to help others, so that we can see from that perspective why it was important for us to have those experiences, so we can, it's like we experience things through contrast. So like we're all kind of having, we learn through sometimes the difficulties more than we learn through the easy times. What what's right for us, what's, wrong for us, or what's right for us, or where we're supposed to be. But all those lessons essentially help us to help others. And I notice that like people that come to me for things, I know and trust that there's something that I can help them. So I don't question anymore. Can I, am I good? Gonna do a good job or whatever. I just know that like if they're coming to me for whatever reason, they're being guided to me. It's because there's something there's a piece that I have that I can help them with, and it might not be the whole piece. It's just one small piece, but it's still something that they need. And I just trust that that's where I am in like service to others. When you put yourself in service to others, then and you have that intention, then yeah, you can trust that it's going to happen. You're going to help
We've all
people.
learned. Sorry, Rachel.
Oh no, I'm done. Thank you.
And we've all learned that, and I think that was the biggest thing, to trust ourselves, to let go of that fear that we had in the messages that we're getting. And even now, even if I know a message just doesn't resonate, or it doesn't seem like it connects with the person, it's like, this seems really, really off. It doesn't make sense to me. But you know what? It's what I got. It's what I got.
Yeah.
I'm sharing with you. If it doesn't reveal yourself today, it might reveal in the future, or maybe it's a metaphor for something else. But that feedback that we get in hearing that, I saw this, I saw you doing this, and you're giving me that feedback. When we get that feedback, we now know that imagery means a metaphor for something different. And getting that feedback is just important. And that's what helps us let go of that fear. And that's where the practice comes in, is that we just keep on doing that, at least what we found. So whatever we're channeling resonates with so many people. It just kind of opens us up. But it also goes to say, like, if I do a message, then Rachel, you do a message, and Jenny, you do a message. Like, we all know it's going to be different. It's a different way of saying it, but essentially is the same message, but in a different way.
Yeah.
And we've all experienced that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it comes through our own filter. And then just what you're describing, Con, like we're just medium, so we're just like the translator. So I'm getting the message, but how I'm translating the message is unique to me and my own perspective of what they're trying to say. But the person that's receiving is really gonna be, the responsibility is really on them to translate the message, really, like for them, because they'll take what resonates out of that message. And it might just be like one like line that you said that was like, oh my God, I get it. Like I don't need to hear the rest of it, and we're just trying to give them as much as we can. But yeah, I mean, they'll find in that what they need to find. Cause I've had, readings myself before I became a medium. And that was my experience, like I always got something out of it. And sometimes it was like really big pieces, but it wasn't always the whole reading that I resonated with every single word. Mm-hmm. But I knew that like when someone was saying something that was like, okay, that's it. That's what I needed to hear. And then sometimes I could tell too, when it was coming through their filter, and maybe they were getting a message, but maybe their filter was like interpreting against their own beliefs and views that might be different from mine. But yeah, I'm just, just being open, even as a receiver of the message, just being open to understand that that's kind of, someone's giving you a message, and you're just going to take what resonates. And there might be pieces of it that don't make sense to you in the beginning, but later down the road, like Con was saying, it might just be like a seed that was planted that you'll recall when you're ready to know why that was important. Maybe it's just like not important to you now, but it might be in the future. So be open to that.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things I'm learning to do right now in my readings and channeling is to trust that the information that's coming through, however it seems to me, is exactly what's supposed to be coming through, whether I get that link or not. When we do our chit chat program group, I've learned that sometimes I would pull cards in the beginning and the message wouldn't make any sense to me, or things that I was hearing. But as we continued through the group to go around the circle, so to say, with our information that was coming in, it always resonated with what it was. But maybe the message didn't come through clear for me right away. And I think one of the funniest things is when I get too intense, and Con knows about this, my angels come in and sing really ridiculous songs to me or say the most craziest stuff to me. And it's, first of all, to get my attention to like, okay, you got to chill down, Jenny. You know what I mean? Like, and then I start to giggle, and then I open up and more information comes through, but it's a learning process to trust what's coming in, that it's not stuff that I'm making up myself.
And what you said about, when we do the practice sessions, that's a lot of the times I'll just go first. And even though, because my fear is that I'm wrong, or at least it was, I'm wrong. I don't trust what I'm getting. So let me just go first. And then as everyone else starts talking, it's like, oh yeah, okay. And then you get that sigh of relief, like, okay. I was like on the same lines, because everyone else is kind of getting the same thing.
Yeah.
It's that risk and reward. Maybe I'm just a little bit of an idiot for jumping head in, but that's just me. I'm a bit of a bull when I jump in. So, and I don't care to make myself look like a fool, because it is what it is. And I think that's it, especially when we're first waking up and we're first practicing channeling. There's so much uncertainty that having those private groups and the back end sessions really helps to kind of get past that. But it really is practicing and trusting and doing. It's the experience, right? I think it was probably the first thing when we first started learning math and going to school, and you learned like, okay, here is 2 apples, okay, show me here's 1 apple, and we have now 2 apples, and how many do we have? Is it 2? Like, we just didn't know. And then they brought in oranges. There was an apple and an orange. Oh my God, like, you just changed the whole playing field. My world is rocked. Like, there is an apple and an orange. How could that be? And we realized, it's 2. But it was that repetition that we finally got to that point. It's like, oh, okay, like now we see like 2 apples, 2 whatever, anything. Well, it's 2. Like, it's just so easy now. So I really think it's that it's the practice.
Yeah,
it is.
You're always growing through the experience. Like, as a medium, it's not like just like, hey, I'm a medium, I have all the answers, I can do whatever. It's like, no, like, my guides are always showing me new things as I'm ready. Okay. So I'll have like, I started to figure out like more recently that, and this was like a game changer for me. I don't know if you guys will can relate to this, but when I figured out this, I was like, oh, okay. So like, sometimes I'll get like guides coming in, like if I have a client in the schedule, sometimes I'll get like guides showing up for that client like well before their session. So I'll be like, why is Kuan Yin here? Like, because I don't channel her that often, and then I'll find out later that, that was their guide, and then so now I just started to realize that happening. So I pay attention to that, and I'll even invite them to come in like and hang out with me like before and give me signs like, even the day before leading up to the session, just so I can be really clear on who their guides are. But it is really fascinating how that works. So just like we're always growing and expanding. So that through the experience of channeling and practicing that with other people, you do start to trust, and you do start to like expand and see more, see a different perspective, I guess, that will help you like connect easier the next time.
And we all kind of grew up together as well as we were coming out of this, practicing. And I had to say, like, even from where we were, let's say a year and a half ago to where we are now, like, it is night and day what we've experienced, even just in this past year. It's just such a massive game changer in our channeling abilities, how we do it, how much more free flowing and fun it's become. It's made a big difference. Eric has been my biggest, most people know that I channel Eric. So channeling Eric is one of my guides, Archangel Eric. And he came through it and pranked me for a while. And he's with me all the time. But he is such a joker that I needed that fun energy, that he just messed things up, and he pranked me and he pranks everyone else, and he's just so raw and he'll swear at people.
He's so perfect for you, Quan, and get you out of the serious mode, or the you know what I mean? Like when we're too
rigid.
detailed or oriented, or just like it has to be this certain way, this expectation. It kind of like changes things up and brings in like this lighter aspect to it.
Yeah. And that's part of me being, my dad was a pretty serious guy, and him being serious and me being an emotional mess. I knew that I had to be serious as well, but he taught me a lot of discipline and honor and loyalty. My dad is like an honorable, loyal man, and my whole family is. So having those traits in it, but he was very serious. So when I did my work, even up to now, even though I thought I was having fun and joy free and just enjoying everything, but I was still pretty serious about my credibility, my work, how I did things. My honor of my reputation was very important to me. So I was quite rigid on what I did. And it was, anytime I would have these awakenings and just discussions and who I am discovering and letting that go. And my wife would often say, like, you're rigid. And she would call me out, and she was like, you're being rigid. And she would never throw it in my face, but she would help me to see that. And as you start hearing other people saying other things as well along those lines of rigidity, it's like, oh yeah, like you're right. I am rigid. And to a point, I still am, and that's still very much a lesson. Although I have let go of things. Like I used to be like early for appointments. I would have all like the scheduling piece of me, and ridiculous. Now it's like, whatever. You want to come over, come over. You want to do this, whatever. Like it's just so laissez-faire now, right? So
I've seen that change in you just in the time that we've spent together online in the last year and a half. I can see the difference. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I second that, just from doing the show and just everything, like since we've, been practicing together for so long. Yeah, I can definitely see how you've like opened up and expanded and learning to let go. And yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah. I think as I've done that, as we've all learned to let go,
Yeah.
the abilities have just gotten better, and it's really cranked up quite a bit.
Yeah. It just opens up that channel, I think, when I know for me, it opens up my channels when I just let go, and just be goofy. Usually you can tell when I've settled in and I start to get silly, then you know that everything's good. But Archangel Michael's the one that always pokes at me with the silliness to get me to just relax.
Yeah, in the beginning, it was Archangel Michael for sure. That was like more helping me to do that as well. But he's not as like in the forefront anymore. I mean, I channel Metatron a lot more than, but he's more not so joking all the time. But I have a new guide now that's really interesting. I won't go too far into it because I'm going to do a video with him soon. But it's like so out of the blue for me to have him step forward for me in a way. And he's just been like so right there with me the last few days. Freddie Mercury.
No kidding.
Yes. Like he's telling me stuff. I'm like, is this for real? Because I wasn't like a Queen fan. I mean, I know all the popular songs, but one song came on the radio and I was like having this moment. I was like seeing him and I was like, oh my God. And, Starseed, all this stuff. And I'm getting this download and I'm like having this like heart connection and like crying. And I'm like, oh my God, like what? And then, there was a client I had. So I started to think like, okay, is this for someone else? So he did have a message for somebody else, but he's with me. Like, he's like, but I have a message for you too. So I was like chatting with him and he was like, I was asking him for signs and stuff. And he's telling me stuff that I've never watched a movie on him. I don't know anything about his personal, nothing other than like, he died of AIDS. Like, that's what I knew. And he was telling me stuff about, like his personal life. Like he was like, I was close to someone named Mary. And I looked that up and it turns out that was like his twin flame. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, this is getting weird. And then he would like just start saying certain lines, like the show must go on. And I don't know any of his music. And then he just told me today, like, look that up. And I was like, because I don't know why he keeps saying this, the show must go on. And I look it up. as I was like driving here actually today, and I'm like, Freddie Mercury, the show must go on. Oh, that's a song he sings. I'm like, I had no idea. Like, it's just so he's like there. And I know he has a message for the collectives that he wants me to share. So I'm going to do a video with him eventually. But yeah, totally new, totally
Wow.
awesome though. He's super, like, his vibe is really high vibe. Like, love
Yeah.
him now.
There's a
It's,
great documentary on Netflix. It's
yeah.
like a recreation type of thing. It's like when they use actors and they kind of have a story documentary type.
Hmm.
Oh,
I forgot what it's called, but on Netflix, and it's it's the actor that does, I think he does I Am Robot or something, some hacker show.
I'll
Anyways,
have to write that down. I've got to watch more from him because I think he wants me to. But that's
yeah,
so
but watching it, like just watching, just listening to the music, and when he's on the stage and singing the music, and all these songs are so powerful, it just reaches so deeply into your
right
core
here.
that you
Like, I'm
end up.
listening to all his albums now, and I'm hearing like this guy was like a light worker to the max. Like, all his songs are like about like one love and one vision, and like it's just so heart centered. Not to mention his voice. So yeah, I'm really vibing with him right now.
Yeah,
So
So
love
I'm
that.
curious.
some guide to come through. I was that like kind of he's pushing me out of my comfort zone though. That's part of what he's here for me. But he wants to be a guide for other people too. I really feel like that's what he wants to do for people. But he's kind of drawing my awareness that there's just like more guides out there for people than just like, Ascended Master and all these, guides that we think we're
Yeah.
just don't don't box yourself in. Like, you might connect with someone through their music or whatever. Um, yeah, so interesting.
I'll be curious to see if something shows up today for me.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
Mary. It was Mary. I'm
Yeah.
glad you came out and said that because I asked her, because I was asking him like the day before. I'm like, "Are you here for Mary maybe?" And he started showing me the signs of like how to connect to her that he was, and it was like one of them was like Queen because her profile name had Queen in it. He showed me that, and then he showed me that he was close to someone in his life named Mary to make that connection. And that's when I started doing more research. And then since I've had that reading, he's been showing up a lot for me too. So I know that he has,
Wow.
like I said
Nice.
already, but it's really
What a
powerful.
gift.
That's cool.
I
That's
love this.
cool.
Yeah.
I love all this whole awakening that we're going through and coming up. It's just so amazing. How lucky are we, right?
Yeah, it's
Love the
beautiful, guys. Just trust the process and enjoy the ride. Okay.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, like Lisa says, yeah, it's night and day. That just that whole process that we go. Nicole
Yeah.
says, I remember the roller coaster ride I went through last year, a cycle of returning to past pain over and over again. Wow, that is huge. Yeah, and that's something that we all go through, and I'm going through that right now.
Mhm.
And actually, during the break, it was that little bit of experience as well. Of so we had that break, we had the time off, and between our season one ending now to here, so we were off at Christmas time. So I took the opportunity. The whole plan was to like meditate quite a bit, which I did, but I also was experimenting with the medical cannabis again. So well, I got an opportunity. I don't like it in my system, so I ended up gathering the doctor was saying something about a combination of CBD oil and the THC. So one's like non-psychosomatic and the other one is. So having a combination of that is really good for coating up the myelin sheath, which is a part of the MS that the nerves aren't communicating. So it's that buffer that needs it. So he said, this is really good to you. So I ended up, all right, well, let me try it and experiment because I've been off it for so long.
Yeah, it's been a while.
And it was can't really say I really noticed much different. Besides, I got really high at nighttime when I introduced the THC before going to bed. And I just ate a lot of sunflower seeds and other junk because I was high and had the munchies. It's like, what the hell? Right? I don't know. But I was glad to kind of get off it. Glad to get off it. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So tell me about your year. What's going on here? What's going on in the life of Rachel since we?
Me? Oh man, all of that I just said. So that it's just been fun. I've just been enjoying the ride. Things. Let's see, just just focusing more on manifestation lately. Like that's kind of been what I want to help people with more too. So just being more aware of basically the process that we're talking about, like how we connect the dots, how the universe gives us signs and synchronicities. That's really been kind of what's been coming in for me to be more aware of, like how we're all connected. And just how to bring how to draw that trust out in people to see their higher self, like trying to speak to them through their own experiences, and trying to help people see that um, in themselves. Because I think like sometimes even as a medium and someone who can connect to my guides when I want to, but like it's just this human connection that we have with each other that just is so necessary in this process for us to really see ourselves and to experience ourselves, because we have our guides to like tell us who we are, okay, as higher beings of love and light, and we get these messages and these downloads. But to have the experience of that through the human connections that we have with each other, I just that to me has really profoundly shifted me. Once I start to like really see that playing out in the physical, um, in the way that things are manifesting for me, it's been I don't know, it's been a powerful learning experience, and I'm just enjoying the ride and what's to come, and not rushing through the process anymore, or not feeling like I'm not here, so I mustn't be. Um, I don't know what the word is, but I think like we think of ourselves as like not good enough, or maybe it's just the idea that we compare ourselves to where other people are at. Like just not doing that anymore. I feel like more free. I feel like that's something that has shifted in me, moving out of last year to like this year. Maybe more in the beginning or throughout the year, I was in that place where I was looking at what other people are doing and then trying to find like what I want to do. I feel like now that I found that, and now I'm just kind of excited to go with it, you know, to just go in the way that my path is leading me in. And it's unique to like where you guys are going to go with it and where everybody's going to go with it, but we're all here to kind of serve each other and help each other, um yeah, for the highest growth of all. So I don't know, that's just like a greater message for me lately that has been coming through a lot.
Yeah, I've had a lot of pressure as well coming through about making changes and shifts, really getting the business aspect name of the Kanyini franchise. So so now I've set up it's part of my numbered company. So I've now created that doing business as piece, and now I'm setting up with a bank. So I'll be able to set up all the back end piece to really turn this into a franchise in the future. But it really does come back to not just emotional releasing, which has been a big focus of last year, but now this year is all about creation. And
Mm.
so there's a really big push for me to really get my story out there now. About one of the things I've always said I was going to show myself walking and moving and doing all these things, but I've had technical difficulties in figuring out how to do that because I don't really necessarily enjoy the video editing aspect of it, and it's just so time consuming that that's just not me anymore. So I've decided now that it finally came through to me that just take a recording, record yourself, and then do your live and just show yourself walking or doing these things because that's what's going to help people awake. And then this year's all going to be about having another day where I'm just going to be going through emotional releases or inspirational stuff and growing things and just kind of going into manifestation because it's all about creation and mastery. So this year's all about mastery for me. Because one of the things I really admire about you, Rachel, is that how well you're able to channel different beings. That
Mm,
is such a gift.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah,
Really,
it comes with practice. I mean, it's more like the more you connect to different beings intentionally, the more you start to like tune to their frequency and kind of sense when they're coming in. It's just easier. I don't. Yeah, it's like you have to kind of have the experience of it, but But that's really all it is just practicing, like tuning to the different guides. So that Ascended Masters series that I did was partly for me. Like everything I do is like for me to expand as well. It's not like I'm not looking at it as like I'm the expert and I know it all. I'm like wanting to learn and grow with everybody, and we can do it together. So when I connected with a lot of those guides, then I started to be able to pick up on their frequencies, like Lord Shiva, like guides that I wasn't necessarily reaching out to connect to before. um yeah, I could start to pick up when they were around or coming in for somebody, things like that. But that's all it is. Next I'm going to go into the galactics, because I really, there's so many out there, and I have connected with a few, but not all of them for sure. So I feel like I would like to fine tune my awareness in that area as well.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's a kind of like just go with whatever you're drawn to. If you want to learn that or fine tune that, you can, through
Yeah.
practice.
So Lisa's asking if you've connected with your mom since her passing.
Yeah, like it's like she's always around too, and it's, with when I'm with my kids a lot, when we're doing certain things, yeah, I definitely feel her energy around me, like a lot, and I get a lot of signs and stuff from her too. But I just feel her energy. I feel like, I can ask her a question and like know what she's saying back. It's just that I could just know when she's there. So yeah, definitely. That's made it a lot easier to
Yeah, I
move
really
through
have
the grief
enjoyed.
process, because it's like I feel how happy she is, and I feel like how she's actually happier being able to be there with me in that way than, because in our, and when she was here on earth, like we just didn't connect as often as I would like to. The COVID stuff, there was like a lot of fear about like getting together and things like that. So we were more distanced in the last few years, and she had health issues, a lot of health issues. So she wasn't around as much as she wanted to be, but I feel like she's more herself now, and I can experience that like side of her, which I didn't get to a lot in this life. So it's nice.
Were you able to help your family with just being connected and knowing?
Yeah.
Were you able to kind of provide some peace to the rest of your family members?
Yeah, I think even just the fact that, I was channeling for like a year up before my mom passed, like even my connection with my mom, like her knowing that I was doing that and I was channeling for my mom, I connected her with her guardian angel, and I did a lot with my sister and my mom. I think that made her passing a little bit like easier, her
Oh,
transition, in when she did pass, even though we didn't really know. But I mean, I could share a story about that, but I don't know if we want to. But I did have some communication before she passed that she was going to pass. With her soul, I think I had a dream, um, the day before she went to the hospital, that she was going to pass. So it was like I knew, like from spirit, that there was a high likelihood, and I had Mother Mary around, and I had a lot of guides coming in. So to help prepare me for the transition before it actually happened. But obviously, I wasn't telling her that that was what I got from the dream. I didn't tell anybody about that till after the fact, because still holding space for healing. But when your soul chooses to exit, it usually happens like, sometimes like before you actually exit, like it's
Mhm.
preparing for that. So, yeah, being a medium has really helped me um, through all of that. Um, I don't
yeah.
know if that answered the question, but
I think you did. That was wonderful. And before we get into predictions, how about you, Jenny? Have you ever connected into past loved ones?
Yeah, I have. Most recently with my mom, who was a huge reason when I first connected with a medium. My mom had passed, and I wanted to connect with her, and she just wasn't coming in. And this was like 4 years ago. There's that 4 year thing back again, and it's been recently by opening up my channels, and I've been able to connect with my mom, and I've had a couple really awesome experiences with that lately. I did a reading with William, and when I did that, my mother came through for both of us, and I felt a different energy than I had ever felt, and knew that that was the energy that was my mom. And so that was a really cool experience to be able to connect with her in that way. Like Rachel said, I've always felt like my mom has been with me since she passed, but not presenting herself in either, clairvoyance or clairaudio. I really wasn't getting any connection. I was a little frustrated with it for a while, but it's that timing thing. When we're ready, we're ready. And my friend who's a medium, who's been a mentor to me, said she knows you're not ready yet, and she's waiting. And so that's been really cool. And I've connected with grandparents. One of my guardians is a grandfather that just blew my mind, that I wasn't expecting him to be one that was with me all the time. I was close to him, but he passed when I was young. And it's just really cool to connect with loved ones that have passed on, and not just for me, but for other people, for clients and friends, to give. I love giving somebody a message that lets them know that their loved ones are okay, because a lot of people don't understand that. They live in that pain of losing a loved one, and to be able to tell them that they're okay, and that they're there all the time, for the ones that can't quite connect with that, and that knowing, and it helped me when my mom passed to know that. And it still helps me. I lost an uncle recently, and it hurt, and it wasn't a pleasant experience, but I didn't sit in that pain for very long, because I knew he's in a better place, and he's with me all the time. And so I've had those experiences.
And I'd like to, oh, Con, you're muted.
Thank you. I'm not going to be invited to any more funerals, because every time I hear of a death or see a death, it's like, ooh, right? Like, you made it. Like, you've gone. Like, good for you. It's like, you don't want that smiling, happy guy in the corner. Like, channeling good messages, right?
No.
Sorry, I wanted to say this too, though, about my mom. With you, Con, when you really helped us to confirm also through your connection, because Con offered my sister a free reading when my mom passed, and my sister's 21. So they had like a lot closer relationship in a certain way than, where I was at in my life and where she was at in her life. And they lived together and all of that. So, that was really helpful for both of us to heal from, like, just to get that like outside confirmation. Cause I mean, I know based on like my mom's personality and what you were able to channel to my sister, and the specifics and in the way my mom would say certain things and the things she was choosing to share was exactly like, it was like, oh my gosh, so much proof. But so it's like still helpful to get that, confirmation from other mediums, I mean, even though we are doing it, it's just, you cannot downplay that experience that you have, like when others can connect in that way. So that was a real gift for both of us, Con, and I did want to thank you for that publicly. And so we really appreciated that. And I think even William Michael Forbes, my Hannah, I think she asked him a question on his live about our mom a few days like after, and he brought hers through too, and it had a loving message to share. So all of those little pieces really helped. And I know my mom was like, she's ready to talk. Like she's like, no, pick me. Yeah, I want to come through. So so it was good too.
That's awesome. I love doing the channeling Eric and friends thing on Friday, because I get to experience so many different beings and energies and just let it flow. And it's always so nice to hear that type of confirmation. What I've always been really good at is connecting with people emotionally and just knowing what's inside them, what's going on with the energies around them, just any type of healing, emotional. I've talked so many people off the ledge. We're like being in like the local bank, and I'm in with, sometimes, not the tellers, but you go in with the executives and the account executives, and they're helping you with like opening a bank account or what it might be. And I was talking to them about whatever it was. And this one woman she began to share how she's discriminated in the bank. And it's like, I'm looking around like, you don't know me at all, but you're sharing this like extremely intimate detail and something that's really defamatory to the bank as well, like a large bank. And it's like, holy crap, like you really shouldn't be saying this to me. Inside, I'm saying this to myself, but I was just honoring what she was sharing, protecting it, and being so appreciative that she would trust me with something so personal about not only her but her kids and lifetime and how it affects her entire life. Like sharing so much personal details that it's like, well, when people are sharing this type of stuff, I had to honor that. There's no, you cannot step over or trample someone's beliefs or what's happening to them, whether it's real or not. But this is what she's feeling, that she's seeing, this is what she's sharing, that's affecting her and her kids. Whether it's true or not, I believe it's true. But you can't be the person that's like, stop saying that. Like, that's just tramples them. And now she has this bit of release that she can share this information. So you never want to stop people from their healing, growing, being able to communicate. And it's probably one things that I've learned from women. I've always been an observer of women, not in a leery way, creepy leery way, but in a very much appreciative, like how women operate. Because most women are just so much more open, connected to not just a single focused task, but a greater scope of everything around. And I've always appreciated that about my mom, who's kind of taught me that, and the women around me that I just kind of observed in you guys, like just seeing how you operate. I'm impressed. Like, wow, like this is what a gift to be a woman.
Yeah. I just want to say that it's when you brought that up about people saying things to you, personal stuff, I experience that all the time. And it's been happening for years. And I could never understand. I would say, why are these people telling me this most intimate stuff? Like strangers walking up to me in stores. And, I had an experience way up north. I'm up in the mountains somewhere, and I happen to go up in a third floor of a store. And this lady comes up to me and she starts telling me her whole story about how her husband passed away and why she was there. And I've just learned to hold that space for them, and just, I don't have that question anymore about why are people telling me these things, because I know why now. I get to hold space for these people. It's so awesome. That's one of my favorite things now. I hadn't thought about that till you just said that.
Yeah, I had some experiences with that as well. Like before I was doing the mediumship, like right before that, I had some really interesting experiences with people. Like one woman in the parking lot of Target, I was like just go into my car, and she was collecting signatures from something for some cause. And I just stopped and was truly listening to her. And then we just started talking, and she just started opening up. And by the end, she was crying and like hugging me. And, she had a lot going on with her parents were in the hospital, and she was kind of stressed about that. And it was just, it's just, just being the love, like holding space is the best way to put it. But just, knowing that there's no meetings that are by chance. If someone feels safe with you, there's a reason for that. If you can be the healer in that moment, like hold that space for that healing to occur, then it's like the biggest gift you can give to someone, to humanity in general, because that's how we should all be with each other in this world, really. You create the world you want to live in, consciously and intentionally. So that's beautiful.
And I think, when we look back at the last couple of decades, we were all told not to share our emotions, to suck it up, to be strong. And now, but we knew instinctually that, okay, I'll do this, but it did not feel right at all. But now that we're part of this safe community and being able to open up, that we were able to grow within our closed community and share and finally find people that accepted us, that we were able to be emotional, regardless of who you were, that we were able to show without being judged. And then now taking it out to YouTube, make it more public, and having other people that gravitate to you And so many people, I don't know how many people showed up in my feeds saying like, I don't know why I'm here. but then some kind of connection would happen. It's like, oh, okay, that's it. But that's a little gut
I
punch.
don't know why I'm here. I just popped in for some reason. I'm gonna get something out of
Why
this.
am I listening to this pasty white bald guy? Like, what the hell?
I'm still here though, so there's something about it.
We know why they're there, whether they know
Yeah.
why they're there or not.
Exactly. There's
Yeah.
always a reason. Always a reason.
Always a reason. Yeah.
There
And Mina's saying as well that she's connected with her grandma. Haven't had any dreams about her since she passed. Came to say goodbye and told me she was going to reincarnate. This was during high school. Wow.
Wow.
Mina, that's really cool. How long ago was that, Mina? If you don't mind me asking like that, because that seemed like a really, I don't know, did any of you ever feel any of this stuff when you were in high school?
Yeah, I felt a lot. I was like big on like journaling. I don't know about like yes, I did. I had people that passed that I was really close to, and I felt like they were in the room with me when I was grieving and going through a hard time with it. But I didn't know that I could. I just kept shutting it out. No, that's not possible. I was told that people die and then they don't go to heaven. They just die, and there's like in this like nothingness until they get resurrected one day to live back on earth. That was a Jehovah's Witness belief. So I was very like, no mediumship, no, that's the devil, so I really did tune it out, but I really did feel them. Like I knew they were there. Like it was weird. It was surreal to have that. But yeah.
So when you were told that in your upbringing, how did that resonate in you? How did that feel when they said that you just die and then you just go into nothingness?
Didn't feel good. Didn't feel right. I was like, just that's it. Like, and then we just go to nothing and we're like sleeping for a while and then we get resurrected again. And I just didn't understand that concept. I didn't understand the concept of even judgment after death. So there was a teaching about that too. Like, so if you, there's teaching about like Armageddon's going to come and like you got to do things the way God wants you to, or else you will like then be killed and never return. Or if you die, you get a second chance. It's like, so it's better to just die being a bad person than to really try to be a good person, but maybe I'm not following the exact rules of this religion. And I'm going to die anyways and not return. Like, I just didn't understand any of it. But I was scared. Like, I was so scared to like not, I had dreams about Armageddon and all this stuff. I mean, it was scary to be a child, growing up in a religion like that, now that I think about it. But yeah, glad I broke free eventually.
How about you, Jenny? Did you have any experiences with spirit when you were in high school, like this knowing?
Not so much. I think because I wasn't in a right frame of mind at that point, I was using a lot of substances back then. So I don't think that I would have been able to compute anything that was coming through, so to say, at that point, because I was really struggling in high school with addiction and that type of stuff. So I think it was kind of shut off for me. The only thing I really dealt with then was the empathic stuff was so intense for me. Like, I call myself a sponge all the time. Like, I couldn't get around anybody who was disturbed or upset or anything like that. That's what I experienced in high school, but not so much with the medium stuff. I think I just I had a shutdown period. I really had a long period of shutdown. So
yeah, I was more like you, Jenny, though. Like, if just because the question was specific to have I sensed, and it was just like when I had a significant loss, someone I was close to, I remember sensing that I did sense like people in the room. Like I kind of picked up on like someone's watching me or there's a bad energy here. Like I could pick up on stuff like that, but because I wasn't tuning to it, I don't know. But I was very empathic like you. Like that I can relate to. That's where all the journaling would come in and I would just like free flow, automatic write all my thoughts. And I was just always saying in my journal, I was like, I want to be real. I'm not real. Like I felt like something about the world was like fake, but I thought it was me. I thought I was the fake one, and something was wrong with me. But I started to realize, like, no, it's like I just don't see things the way people see things. Like, I don't get this. Like, what? I could tell I felt things more deeply than other people, and I was sensitive to other things that people just seemed to be blasé over their head. Like, they just didn't connect on that level with the world, and I did, and I just thought it was me that needed to be more real and authentic. That's why I kept writing in my journal, but it turned out that I was just not nobody was teaching me that how to be real. Like, I don't know, it was just a weird way of writing it out, but it's interesting looking
I
back.
can identify with that. I did a lot of journaling, and I hadn't really thought about it in that way until you just described it that way. I had journals and journals and journals through
Yeah,
that time period, teenage up through into my 20s. And
I was
then,
like processing, like, what's
yeah,
going on in this world?
that's very interesting. Yeah, and that's why I like sharing this stuff, because I have those aha moments. Because my first instinct is to say, no, I didn't feel anything. I didn't notice anything. And then you guys bring something up and I'm like, well, wait a minute. Okay. The journaling, I never thought of it in that aspect. I did the same thing. I felt like I got dropped on this earth with some manual that didn't work for what was
Yeah.
going on. I felt like I was the odd one out all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Now I know why,
Yeah.
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 That's why I smoke so much drugs.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, it's like you might want to like try to fit in or just like tune out like your own, like just feel more comfortable in this
It
reality.
was a tuning out for me, I think,
Yeah,
is what it was.
escaping. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it was too much.
So I guess that's the alternative, So I don't know when I was, whether I definitely wasn't open. I always wanted to be open. I used to love watching like the mediumship shows, but I was never open. But I definitely didn't feel right in my skin, so I used drugs to escape it. But and here's Lisa saying massive clairsentience. She would shut down.
Yeah,
And I guess that's the alternative to doing drugs or alcohol. You shut down, you turn inward,
yeah.
and now you seem weird because you're trying to process all these things and you just don't have the guidance.
Yeah, and that's when a lot of my clairs started to come through, was when I got clean and sober, is when I started seeing the auras around people and all the colors coming through. And then I had that moment of fear again, slipped in and went, uh-oh, am I really seeing this, or am I like losing it again? You know what I mean? And so it's that I've had those periods of shutdown, and I understand why. It's that nervous system thing, right? It's too much at that time to compute. But
Yeah. Well, the good thing is, in the past, in the 80s, 90s, pre-2000, we or at least I used drugs. Now, while we're going through this difficult time, we're using our mediumship and awareness, and now we get to talk about the future, and because we're just so much more better equipped, right?
yeah,
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, it's like we have a manual now that's been inside us the whole time, that now we can connect to. For me, that's what it feels like. I know everything that I need to get through and deal with life on life's term today is inside of me, in my Christ consciousness, and these abilities, that intuition, and I don't have to use anymore, and I don't have to ask other people for advice, because now I'm learning the tools to be able to know that it's already here.
Yeah.
It's already here,
Yeah. But we still need to help some people with our predictions, at least. That
Yeah,
we
I was
Yeah.
gonna step in and waiting for a good time, but I think we're having a great conversation. It's really flowing really well. But we did talk in our opener that we were going to do some predictions for 2022, just a fun opportunity to channel whoever wants to come through. We'll each kind of take turns doing that and sharing what messages we're receiving. So does anybody want to start, Con? No.
I can. Yeah, I definitely can. I just need to take a breath
Start.
and then I'll do it. But you want me to?
I can start. I
Okay.
mean, it's fine. I'll start today. So Because I already tuned in kind of before I got on, and I had Archangel Uriel step forward. So I was actually automatic writing a pretty long message because he just kind of started coming in. So I might just read that eventually. But before I say that message, I'd like to preface it by saying that I've been doing like a lot of channeled videos lately on my YouTube channel. And I did one with Metatron about like lessons and themes of 2022. And somebody else, oh, it was Almoria and the Galactic Council of Light. So anyways, what the idea that I'm getting like from the guides anyways, when I'm like asking them like what's coming is not a sense of like needing to know. Like, so when I guess the word predictions for me kind of insinuates like what's going to happen like in world events or things like that. But a lot of the guides that have come through that I've channeled, and this is just from my experience, I'm not saying that other guides might not be sharing this stuff, but they're really about like us just focusing on ourselves and aligning with our higher selves and really creating our own timelines, creating our own realities, using all of the tools of manifestation, all of the powers of stepping into our truth and our sovereignty, shining our highest light, serving the collective and the highest growth of all. Those are really generally the messages that I've been getting when I'm trying to peek into 2022 and things like that. So I almost feel like there's the theme in that is just like, being in the present moment. It's like really comes down to like not worrying so much about the future and what the events are and how they're going to unfold, but just really staying tuned to yourself, your intuition, and allowing that to guide, because I really feel like it's all about being heart led. So that's just kind of like me summarizing a little bit about generally what I've been getting. But I will share a message that Archangel Uriel just came in with when I asked specifically before, like, who wants to step forward to share a message and prediction for 2022, something new. So, but I don't know if this is a new message or not, but here we go. He came in, he said, what lights your fire, your passion? What do you do that gives you meaning and purpose? Do that, live that, be that. From the heart, the soul speaks in riddles and rhymes. Play with the pieces and see how they fit. Stay within the flow of the energies or within the energetic flow. Don't despair or fear. Sorry, when I write automatic, it's like I can't even read my own writing. Don't despair or fear. Things are not happening in the right way or time. So that's one sentence. Don't despair or fear. Things are not happening in the right way or time. For all is divinely orchestrated. And when one learns to love the whole of everything as it is and was meant to be, one is in sacred union with the divine energy, the highest energy of love and light that continues to shine down upon all souls still living in darkness. Let there be light. Continue to shine and speak from the heart. Know that your message will ring true throughout the collective, and that tyranny cannot exist where love and truth abounds. For this is the path of the sovereign soul, the one who has come to recognize his own glory as a reflection of the glory of God and the love that binds us all together in unity. Be free to be yourselves and see beyond the constructs and beliefs that seek to divide, but love all aspects of another as you love all aspects of you. Do not give attention to feelings of hate or fear of what you do not know, but seek to empower through your efforts to love all that is and find forgiveness for those who have misled you. And that's as far as I got with it, but that was pretty all encompassing. I felt like his message for us today and what he wanted to share came out really fast. When I write it out, it's like I get word for word for word for word, like as they are speaking. When I channel more, like when I'm just sitting here and like tuning in, sometimes it'll come like that, but usually I'm just kind of getting a sense and idea, and I'm hearing bits and pieces, and then they're helping me to clarify the message and like clairvoyantly and all of the clairs and clairsentiently. But when I'm writing, it's really, really all about like just what's the next word that's coming out, and sometimes it comes in really fast.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just my experience, but wanted to share that from him today.
That's
I don't know if
amazing.
it's a prediction, but it's kind of like, I think, a general message for how we should kind of be viewing where we're at and where we're going and what's important.
Yeah, that's definitely a reinforcement of the message that's been coming through for a while now, but especially now. I just channeled. So for the month of January, I do channeling practice with Archangel Metatron, who's come to me through Shariah to start working. He's going to help me open up my next level of clairs, my next level, and I channeled a message from him a couple of nights ago, and it was very much along those lines as well. Yeah, that's I
Nice.
love
And
that.
Uriel has been coming through for a lot of people I've been working with too lately as a guide. So I don't know if he's showing up more for people or just in general, but like I feel like there's really this light of awareness that's coming up, and people are just more people are waking up. So being more aware of that, bringing the light in is kind of, he's the archangel of light. So, but that's really interesting. You're working with Metatron. He's great for opening up your clairs, by the way. He helped me open up my third eye. And that's when I started to really see things more. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. This
Yeah,
is
I did start mostly with Metatron. So, well, I yeah, he kind of came in more after I was taking Kristen Davies courses. He came in one time. I actually never was drawn to connect with Metatron. He was like the least of the archangels that I wanted to connect to. When I first started channeling, it was Raphael, Michael, and Uriel. Those were the three main ones that were coming in. And then I took Kristen's course, and we connected with him on like a practice session or something, where she brought in an angel and we were supposed to like discern who it was. And it was he was one of them. And after we made that direct connection, that's when he started coming in for me. And it was like, whoa, Metatron's here. What happened? Like, and that's when he became my main guide. And it was just really funny to me because I was listening to channeled messages for him for a long time. Sorry. And not connecting with him as much as like other archangels. So, but I don't know. So doesn't matter. The time is right. You will connect with who you're supposed to connect with.
That's right. That's right.
That's true.
How about you, Jenny? You ready?
Yeah. I don't know if it's so much as a prediction, but it's definitely a message, and it's coming from Archangel Ariel, who is one of the first non-physical energies that came through for me when I began to wake up. And she's telling us to stay in the present moment and be aware of our thoughts as a collective. Remember, your light shines into the darkness, that those who have not seen their own divine light may follow your light as you shine out. It may be the single most beautiful love that the heart can show the world right now. Fear not, dear ones. The light is getting stronger, not weaker. And that's the message.
Jenny, that's like the same exact message that came through. What? And they're all coming through like very clearly. That's
that's the and I just got it right now because I had that little fear of, oops, I didn't do my homework. I don't have a prediction. And I'm like, don't do that. Just tap in.
Yes.
Tap in. And that's what came through. So
that's what's about
beautiful.
being good about me. I'm so lazy as a guy that everything's last minute, right? So no preparation, go on the fly and see what happens. That's good.
I must have that guy part, Con, because I kind of run like by the seat of my pants right now with this. I seem to get a better message when I just like, all right, write it. I can do it with the writing. That's when I have to write it down. And I'm the same as you, Rachel, because half the time I can't read my writing, and I know it's not coming from me because my writing is so neat and very concise, and it's all over the paper. And
like I'm all about spelling. Like half the time I'm like, what is that word? And it's like no punctuation. It's just like run on.
Oh yeah, it's all up and down the page on the side. And I don't normally, I'm like a perfectionist when it comes to writing. So that's how I knew when I started channeling that it wasn't coming from me.
Yep.
If
And
you guys
yeah,
saw
your
my
hand is like
handwriting,
moving faster than your mind can like keep up with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
that's me on a good day. I can never read my writing. I have to be like so slow and print everything out.
Hmm.
Forget cursive. That's another mess in itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So let me tune in, because
Okay.
even though the message is the same from Metatron, I'm going to be posting that as well on the channel. But for now, I'm just, who wants to come in? Yeah, Eric wants to come in, and he's already swearing. So I'm going to try and tone him down, because
Bring them in.
I don't like to swear as much as he does.
Oh my God, he
But
cracks me
I
up.
will.
I always think it's funny when the guides swear. I'll be like, he just said the F word, but I'm not going to say that word. But no, it just feels like weird to me in some circumstances. But sometimes
Well,
it's, hey, let it go, let it out.
Yeah, let it fly.
well, I'll clean it up in a second. I'm not going to change I'm not going to change it. I'm just going to say the night instead of the full word. I'm just going to shorten it up, and everyone will get the gist of it. So,
Got it.
Eric, what do you want to share? What are you going to say for 2022? Wake the F up. So many of you have been bogged down by restrictions, and there's been a mask not only put over your mouths, but through your entire vision, your face, your hearing. You have masks all over every single hole of your body that you're not listening, you're not accepting, you are just holding and towing the line. This is the year that it's all going to wake up. You are going to be shocked, and it's going to be real, but those who are open are not going to be shocked. You know this is the real already. You've been saying it, you've been feeling it, you've been talking about it for oh so long. But now, for those that have been trying to hold back to the old ways, trying to stay in monetary, not opening up, not sharing their emotions, not connecting and being their true selves, it is going to be a difficult time for you. It's going to hurt when you realize that the truths that you always thought are not real because you didn't believe what you felt inside you. And this is a year of feeling. It's not a year of seeing. It's not a year of seeing is believing. This is a year of feeling is believing. So shifting into feeling and believing and knowing, that's what's going to set you free. That's what's going to make this transition up to 2022 much easier for you. So be kind to yourself, love yourself, turn inward, and feel what is right to you. That is my message. Oh.
Nice.
I'm really
Woo.
feeling it. Feeling
Wow.
that, as he's saying.
Yeah, me too.
I'm feeling that.
Right?
Yeah, that's similar to Freddie's vibration, what he would share, but it's all about being free to be yourselves,
Yeah.
and just be free. Just be free flow, let it flow, let the light come in, let the light shine. Don't be scared of like who's going to see you and what they're going to think of you. This is the time to unite. We need to be out there so we can show the world that we're ready to unite, that we are united. We can't show that we're united if we're hiding in the dark. That's what I'm getting right now. I think it's probably Freddie coming in a little bit. But
Freddie.
yeah, I mean, his like whole demeanor is just like the light is like, like how he is on stage is kind of like how we want to strive to be. I mean, obviously we're going through our own stages in this process of awakening. We're not all like ready to be out there and,
Right.
prancing around like Freddie was, but I think that is our end goal. I think that we do want to feel that free to be ourselves. And it's a big lesson for us, like everybody, for the collective even, not to be afraid of who sees us anymore.
Yeah.
Take those masks off, like he was saying, Eric, and let yourself shine. So there's just so much about shining your light, and I feel like it's just an uplifting message that we all need to hear, because we're on the front lines. We in this group, the viewers, the people that are ready to wake up or are waking up, are really the ones that are going to like lead the way for others. And then they're also highlighting the separation and unity of just like through us being like all unique. It's like all the snowflakes you think about, like they're all unique. there's not one that's the same. So it's like, it wasn't meant to be. We weren't meant to be the same. We weren't meant to express or channel divine flow of energy the same. Some people do it through music. Some people do it through dance. Some people do it through mediumship. We're all sharing the message in the way that we're supposed to share it. So whatever we feel drawn to do is what we do, and how we express our light. And the more of us that feel called or confident in our process of doing that, free to do that, I guess I should say, are really holding the space for those who are maybe not ready, but will be. They're growing. They're growing to become ready, and then we're holding love for them. We're holding love and acceptance. That's the world we want to live in. We're all different, but we are all accepted and loved and feel like we belong. So just remember, that's what we're creating. Yeah, it's beautiful. Thank you.
So true. That was wonderful, Rachel. Beautiful summaries. I'm so glad you wrapped that up, because that is just so beautiful in all respects. Thank you for that.
Aw, you're welcome. But I think it was Freddie coming through a little bit, because I'm super connected to his energy right now.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You're getting some love here as well. So that is.
Oh, thank you guys.
That is good.
I love you guys so much. I just love. It's just like surreal to me that we're even here right now in this moment, like having this discussion, connecting with everybody, like even those ones that are just, through the comments or watching. It's like we're all like connecting and doing this. And I feel like we're speaking for everybody that isn't here to speak for themselves, like live on camera, like you guys are sharing your comments, but like there's just so many of us that are feeling like this and ready for this. So
and I feel that just makes the vibration of love and light come higher and higher the more we can do like this, We're
amplifying the energy by meeting with each other, by openly talking about this and being willing to put it on Facebook or YouTube and share it with the world. Like it's important, I think.
Yeah.
And that's why we're here, to help people awaken and tune into their true selves. And like, you're right, whether that is swinging a hammer or doing creative artwork or singing or whatever it is, whatever makes you happy, like be happy. That's really what it's about. Because when you're happy, like that joy, that vibration that you put out there, that not only affects your space, but it affects others. So when others look at you, or we look at someone else and we begin to judge them and say, well, why are you doing that? I don't understand. Why are you bouncing that yo-yo or that chicken bone on a string and sitting in a corner and doing that? Like, what is wrong with you? And it's like, if that makes you happy, they're in the moment. All right. What's that for me to judge? Because we've all done some stupid things in our lives, and we get into these little moments that we'll just get into whatever OCD tick. You kind of think about, well, what the hell am I doing? But we end up finding such comfort in that oddest little thing. So there is nothing wrong with any of this.
Yep. Love it all. Embrace it all.
Yeah, that's it. So we got a few comments here. Yeah, contagious is a good way to go. Yes, you got that right. Yeah, and you're right, Grace. This is it is a beautiful community. So much love. See that? Yeah, so much love. Yeah. Thank you, Jim. Jim, I probably want to talk to you too. What I want to do actually is get an episode where we have more men kind of sharing their experiences in the waking, because most of the men, we've been told not to express your emotions.
Right.
And this is something that as men are waking up, that are able to, I don't know about you, Jim, but me putting a happy heart at the end of my sentence to the group outside of here isn't really going to be happening. And the times that I do that, now I'm beginning to do that. I'm just, forget it. I'm just expressing myself. I don't care. And others will join in. So I'm going to lead. It's like being the first to get on the dance floor. There's always that one person gets on the dance floor. And I was that fool and idiot that would be doing that everyone just staring at. What the hell is that guy doing? But we always need someone, at least somebody's going to get on that dance floor with you. So lots of love for sure.
Yeah. I give you kudos, Grace, for jumping, Con, for jumping right in, jumping in feet first with letting your emotions show and your growth. And it's got to be helping other men.
Yeah. All
one other one, and I know he'll show up here sooner or later. but I know you've been a big inspiration for him. So it's
Awesome.
our buddy Lawrence, our brother.
God, do I love him. I love his energy.
Yeah.
He's beautifully, I think I forgot William said it. He's like specifically flamboyant.
Yes.
So something like that. It's like Lawrence is a beautiful energy and very,
Yeah.
very loving and caring. I really like Lawrence. Anyways, outside of that, no one really knows what we're talking about. So let's not talk about that.
Right.
Well, I think that's it for our time, everybody.
Awesome.
We are at the end of another opener. I hope everyone enjoyed our season 1 opener. A season 2 opener, starting New Year. So we are going to be back every Wednesday. Next week, we're going to be having Rita, my wife, is going to be on, and it is the last Wednesday of every month. We're going to continue with bringing Rita on, who is a holistic nutritionist and a traditional Chinese acupuncturist. She's going to help us with all of our health and nutrition questions, and I think the topic is going to be about New Year's resolutions. And she's always kind of said, she said this probably, I think, on one of her last shows, that we set New Year's resolutions that we think that this is the time for setting something new. Because no, spring is something for new. Spring is the time for new beginnings, and New Year's is for reflection. So she's going to be sharing that, and so bring your questions on nutrition or health, whatever that might be. Bring that for next week, and speaking. So what's going on your guys' calendar for the upcoming week before next Wednesday? Anything for you, Jenny? I know there's new for you, Jenny, but then I'll quick go to you and then to Rachel, because I don't know if you have anything.
Yeah. I don't have anything coming up. I'm going to be working on a YouTube channel at some point here, but I'm focusing on this right now, and just continuing to work in William's classes and open my clairs and
Awesome.
work with my Reiki clients.
Well, we got your first episode right here that you'll be able to download and put on your channel, so you'll at least have one video to put up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
And aren't we glad to have Jenny part of our panel?
Yeah.
I'm just thank you.
Such a perfect fit.
Thank you.
And Rachel, so what's going on with you this week?
Not much. Yeah, I don't have any events planned, so I'll just be hopefully getting some more channel messages up on my YouTube channel when I have an opportunity for that. So I do have in the works, though, I'm hoping to eventually host like a practice session through my private Facebook group with the Galactics. So that's kind of what I'm working on setting up, but I don't have like a date yet. I'm still trying to look at my schedule for that. But yeah.
Awesome. I see you've been posting a lot of stuff on your YouTube channel, and you have such quality content. I really do love your content. You are truly beautiful. So I do love that.
Thank you, Grace. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for all your
Kara. All my sisters and
right.
Awesome.
We're really having more brothers showing up. And then for me, my God, I pretty much got something going on every day. So nighttime. So at 12 noon and 12 midnight on the 1 Billion Strong channel, I'm doing the heart coherence of raising the global vibrations. And that is really good for opening up your channels. Quarter after 12 midnight Eastern Standard Time on my channel, I am doing Guardian Angel Connection Practice. This month, I'm working on Archangel Metatron. And I've had a huge pull to get back to doing more dedicated channeling Eric stuff. He's coming back to me. So he's kind of walked away to let other guys work for me. He says, I'm coming back. And today was his opener to say that he wants to come back. So I'm going to be doing more channeling Eric stuff and doing stuff more channeling Eric mediums. But so midnight, quarter after midnight, join in for Guardian Angel Connection Practice if you like. And then this Friday is channeling Eric, asking friends, bring your questions. And that'll be at 12 noon. We'll just be answering questions the whole way through for you. And then I think next week, I'm going to start doing the emotional releasing again. So if anybody is looking to be a part of emotional releasing, having a guided one-on-one emotional release, please reach out to me. Our contact information is going to be in the description. Jenny, I need your contact info when you're ready. But at least we can put your Reiki stuff up. But get out to our channels. Please like, subscribe, share this out to everybody, and go to all of our channels and help us get up there and share this message. We really just want to help each other out because that's all we want to do. It is for the good. We're not. We've just begun to monetize if it can help, but it's not our primary purpose. We're not here to make money, and I've yet to put anything up. And Rachel just put something up, so let's throw some love Rachel's way and all of our way, and we're just going to start monetizing it to at least help with pay for some of this overhead. But other than that, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Such an awesome time. Thank you, guys.
God,
And
so
thanks everybody who showed up.
Thank you
Bye,
so
everybody.
much, guys. Love you guys. Bye.